It happened last year. I was just a regular teenager, bored, curious, and a little too confident for my own good. I'd been hearing rumors about the dark web for years, and one night, that curiosity got the better of me. I decided I wanted to see it for myself. I didn't own a laptop, so I went on YouTube and found a video showing how to access the dark web using just an Android phone. It seemed simple enough. I knew it was risky, but I didn't think anything serious would happen. I taped over my phone camera, went into my room, locked the door, and started browsing. First stop, Wikipedia. There, I found a list of onion links to get started. Most of the initial sites were harmless, just odd little chat rooms. I didn't interact, just observed. People talking about random things. It felt surprisingly normal, but the deeper I went, the stranger it became. I clicked on a link to a confession board, and that's when things got dark. The posts there were nothing short of horrific. People confessing to things I can barely repeat. Murder, abuse, acts of violence described in disturbing detail. Some even sounded proud of what they had done. Others talked about failed attempts and how they regretted not going through with it. Then came the philosophical ones. People arguing that love was a weakness, that hurting others was strength. One line still sticks with me. Good people are just waiting to be broken. At that point I should have stopped. I should have turned my phone off and walked away. But I didn't. Instead, I clicked on another link, this one leading to a community that I could immediately tell was illegal. It took a while to load. For a moment, I hoped the page would error out, that maybe it was just a hoax. But then it opened. What I saw made me physically sick. Text-based threads, image links, usernames, things I can't describe, things I won't describe, because some things shouldn't be repeated. Some things make you question if the people posting them were even human. I left that page, quickly. Then I found a marketplace. It looked like something off eBay, except instead of books or video games, it was selling items that made my stomach turn. One category claimed to offer handcrafted artifacts, except the photos showed things that looked like human skin, even human organs. They were expensive, as if that somehow made it more legitimate, as if people were actually buying them. That was the final straw. I closed every tab, deleted the apps I used to access it, cleared my history, and tried to pretend it never happened. I blasted music into my ears that night, hoping it would help me sleep. It didn't. For 2 days straight, I couldn't close my eyes without seeing those confession posts. Those listings, the images haunted me. But after a few days, things started to feel normal again. I went back to texting my friends on WhatsApp, playing games, doing all the usual stuff. I started to forget, until I got a text. It was from an international number I didn't recognize. I opened the message, not thinking much of it. "Why are you ignoring me?" My heart skipped. I don't have friends from abroad. I thought maybe it was spam or a scam. I ignored it. The next day, another message. "You can't ignore me. I'm still here. You can't run away." Now I was panicking. I blocked the number, told my closest friends what had happened. One of them responded immediately. He said the same thing happened to him last year after messing around on the dark web. He blocked the number too, but the messages kept coming, even calls. He had to change his phone number before it finally stopped. I didn't want to scare my parents, but I couldn't sleep that night. Then the third message came. "Why did you block me? You can't do anything now." That's when it clicked. Someone must have pulled my number, somehow. I deleted WhatsApp, deactivated my social media, blocked every unknown number I could. But a week later, another one came. A different number, same tone. I didn't even open it, just blocked and reported it. After that, Nothing. Weeks passed, then months. But every time my phone buzzes with a number I don't recognize, I freeze. And I did eventually tell my dad. He showed the message to a friend of his who works in telecom. They never found anything unusual. That was the worst part, because it meant they could still be watching, and I'd never know. I've never gone back to the dark web, and I never will. Even if someone offered me money, I wouldn't touch it. My life is more important. Maybe yours is too. It was the kind of website you think only exists in horror movies, or some dark urban legend you hear on Reddit at 2 a.m. But this one was real, and it had a name. Besa Mafia. On the surface it looked like a joke, an anonymous hitman-for-hire site hosted on the dark web. Pages full of details about ordering a hit, prices based on how you want it done, and cryptic promises that nothing will be traced. There were even testimonials, fake ones, saying things like, "Job completed. Police never suspected a thing." Most people thought it was a scam, a twisted kind of fantasy for people who were angry, or worse. But that didn't stop them from trying it, including one man who wasn't bluffing. It started in Minnesota, a quiet, suburban place where nothing really ever happens. Amy Allwine was a devoted wife, a mother, and a church-going Christian. She ran a successful dog training business out of her home and had no enemies that anyone knew of. So when the FBI knocked on her door in 2016, she was confused. They told her there was someone online who wanted her dead. They had intercepted messages on the dark web showing that someone had paid thousands of dollars in Bitcoin to have her taken out. The instructions were clear. Make it look like an accident. Nothing messy, nothing loud. Amy was shaken, but she was reassured. The FBI told her they had disrupted the hit, and that she and her husband, Stephen, would be safe. For a while, it seemed like that was true, but there were details no one outside the FBI knew. Like how the person who ordered the hit gave detailed information only someone close to Amy would know. Her schedule, her travel plans, her work habits. They even knew when she'd be alone, and that person kept paying. Even after the FBI intervened, they kept pushing, messaging the site. Why hasn't she been taken care of yet? The payment has been made. It was almost like they were desperate. The kicker? The hitman site? It was fake. It was a scam run by some Eastern European teenager trying to get rich by pretending to be a killer. But the intent from the person behind the messages, that was all too real. Then came November. Amy was found dead in her home. A single gunshot to the head. No signs of forced entry. The gun found near her body. It looked like suicide, but something about it didn't add up. The way the gun was placed, the position of her body, and most importantly, the family's background. Amy didn't suffer from depression. She didn't own a gun. And she had just told a friend days before that she was feeling happy, excited about upcoming holiday plans. So the FBI came back. And this time, they weren't warning her. They were investigating her death. They turned their focus to one person, Stephen Allwine, her husband. Stephen was a respected figure in their church community, a spiritual counselor, the kind of guy who spoke softly and smiled at everyone. But behind closed doors, it was a different story. The FBI began piecing together the timeline. Stephen had access to the same computer where the hitman site was accessed. They tracked Bitcoin transactions, multiple ones, all leading to the same wallet used by Besa Mafia. All of them sent from Stephen's account. Then they searched his computer. Deleted files, hidden emails. One stood out, a message to Besa Mafia. It read, "I need this done. She can't find out. Make it quick. Make it quiet." It became clear, when the dark web hitman scam didn't work, Stephen took matters into his own hands. They found traces of a drug in Amy's system, a sedative, something to make her dizzy, disoriented, Then he staged the scene, wiped the prints, planted the gun, and left just enough chaos to pass it off as suicide. But he missed something. The drug didn't metabolize fast enough. The autopsy showed signs of foul play. That, combined with the web history, the Bitcoin trail, and the emails, it was enough. Stephen Allwine was arrested and charged with murder. It's easy to think the dark web is just a myth, that it's something for edgy teenagers and conspiracy theorists. But this case proved something scarier. Sometimes the websites are fake, but the people behind them aren't. What's terrifying isn't just the existence of a place where you can type out your darkest thoughts anonymously. It's that someone might actually act on them, even if the service fails, even if it's all just a scam, because the intention was always real. This happened about 2 years ago, when I was going through one of the worst periods of my life. I was freshly out of a job, alone most of the day, and just bored. Not the kind of bored where you clean your whole room and reorganize your closet. I mean that deep, dangerous kind of boredom, where you start exploring places online you really shouldn't. That's how I stumbled across videos about people buying dark web mystery boxes. Most of them looked fake, obviously staged for views. But I guess that's what made me curious. What if they weren't all fake? It was one of those impulsive moments where your brain tells you, don't do this, but your hand moves anyway. I had a little Bitcoin saved from years ago, so I figured, why not? I searched through a forum I'm not going to name here, and eventually found a vendor selling boxes with the simple label, $250 mystery, no returns. A few clicks later, I was in. The box took 11 days to arrive. There was no return address, no branding, just plain brown cardboard sealed with black electrical tape. The moment I picked it up, I felt wrong. It wasn't heavy, but it wasn't light either. It smelled faintly like something metallic. Not strong enough to choke, just enough to make your skin crawl. I brought it into my room, set it on my desk, and started filming just in case. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But at the time, I was hoping it would turn out to be content-worthy, or at least funny. It wasn't. The first thing inside was a stuffed bear. Small, ragged and stained. Reddish-brown spots on its stomach and right ear. I couldn't tell if it was blood. I didn't want to know. Underneath it was a yellow envelope with no label. Inside were 3 Polaroid photos. The first was a blurry shot of what looked like a basement floor, with ropes in the corner. The second was of someone standing in a dark hallway, only half of their face visible, with the flash catching their eye. It was wrong, like it wasn't just a picture. The third photo was of a house, a small white house with brown shutters and a blue trash can tipped over out front. At first, I didn't think much of it. Then I noticed the address numbers on the mailbox. They were mine. I stopped filming. I actually sat there for a full minute, trying to convince myself it was some kind of coincidence. There are hundreds of homes with the same numbers, right? I put the photos back in the envelope and kept digging. There was a small flash drive at the bottom of the box. It had no label, just a red sticker dot. I plugged it into my laptop, with my camera covered and mic muted, just in case. The drive had one folder. Inside were 2 files. The first was a .txt file that simply read, "You shouldn't have opened this." The second was a video file. It started as a still shot of a wall. Concrete. Cracked. Slightly wet. Then the camera moved. Whoever was holding it walked down a hall. The lighting was dim, but you could make out doors, all locked. All with scratches around the handles. The camera stopped at the last door and zoomed in on a name etched into it. I won't say what name it was, but it was mine. I pulled the USB out immediately and shut the laptop. My heart was racing. I was sweating like I'd just run a marathon. I threw the whole box in a garbage bag and walked it 2 blocks away before tossing it. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. For the next week, I kept hearing things at night. Thumps from the attic. Whispers behind my bedroom door. My motion light out front kept going off randomly between 2 and 3 a.m., but the worst part came 5 days later. I got a text. No number, just unknown. It said, "Why did you throw me away?" I stared at it for minutes, then blocked it. Not even an hour later, my doorbell rang. When I checked my porch, there was nothing, but lying just outside the door was the bear. The same bear I threw out, still with the red stains. That night, I didn't sleep. I stayed up watching the hallway from my bedroom, bat in hand, door locked. Around 3:12 a.m., I heard something outside. It was faint, like a whisper. Then something scraped against the side of my house. I don't know what it was. I didn't open the window. I didn't go outside. The next morning, carved into the tree just outside my bedroom window were 4 words. "See you again soon." I moved 2 months later. I changed my number, wiped all my devices. I don't order anything online unless it's from Amazon or a store I can walk into. Sometimes I still wonder if the box was part of a prank or some twisted social experiment. But then I think about that video, the name carved into the door, the bear showing up again, the messages. That box wasn't a prank. And the people who sent it, they knew exactly what they were doing. So if you're thinking of ordering a mystery box from the dark web, don't. Thank you for listening. Please comment below whether you prefer with or without subtitles. And comment any stories you'd like told. Until next time.